subscribe, hit that notification button. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Good evening, everyone. Dwayne Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Had technical difficulties. Could not get. I have like 3 microphones. Could not get any of them to work. So if someone could put in the comment section, give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you can hear me. Annette Baker, I see you're here. Make sure we're hitting the thumbs up. Okay. Somebody give me a thumbs up to make sure they can hear me. Can you hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Okay. So I'm going to assume that. Okay. There we go. Thank you, Devin. Definitely appreciate it. So I'm going to start this new year off doing still going to do the Q&As every Wednesday. We're going to go to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of 7 p.m. Okay. That is the first announcement. The second announcement is our free 15-minute consultations are back on a limited time basis, on limited basis. So we're going to have 2 days that we're going to do this. So do these free 15-minute consultations. And keep in mind, these consultations are only to discuss what it is my company does. It's not, oh, let me just tell you my story. Oh, let me give you some of what the VA's been doing. We're going to ask a few questions to figure out which educational service that we provide that will best suit you as you go through your VA claims journey. Okay. Also, I've been on the VA's website. I've been just scouring different things that are going on within the VA. Been getting a lot of comments saying, Dwayne, can you do a video on this? Can you do a video on that? And it's not that I don't want to do the video. If you look at any of my videos and I'm showing a slide, that means I took the time to do some research. I just don't jump on YouTube and start ranting and raving about the VA and this, that, and other. Okay. I want to give you something that's tangible, that's something that you can use, that's tangible, that will help you execute, and be successful with your VA claim. Okay, so I'm going to get through some questions. I'm going to get to some questions here in a little bit, but I wanted to share something. Okay, I wanted to share something here, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see this. I'm going to try and blow it up a little bit for you. Okay. Now, there's been a lot of talk about should you go to a CMP exam or should you not go? I think it's very irresponsible to tell somebody to go or tell somebody not to go. I do neither, because at the end of the day, it's up to you. But you have to be educated on the VA claims process in this instance if you submit a sufficient DBQ and Nexus statement. Okay. So before I get into Q&A, we're going to be talking about VA employees rejecting and refusing to use your DBQ and Nexus statement. Okay. Now, I'm a retired VA rater. What does that mean? I'm not accredited. I was trained by the VA. I didn't go work for a third-party VSO, a law firm, and just take a test and get accredited. That's all that means. You took a test, you passed. And lawyers, they don't even have to take a test. They just fill out a form. That's it. They don't need to know anything about the 38 CFR M21 manual reference. Now, I'm not downplaying what they do. Okay? If a veteran decides to go get a lawyer, fine. Not a problem. My experience, I was trained by the VA initially, and then every year we had to complete X amount of hours of training. And every 2 years we had to take a test. Okay, and had to pass that test. Okay, so in not only tonight, what I'm going to share with you, but even in my YouTube videos, that's where a lot of this stuff is coming from. Okay. You don't have to be accredited to understand this process. People say, oh, you got to get accredited. If you're not accredited, you don't know anything. You're dumb. You're stupid. No. Okay. Now, one, at the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to go to that CMP exam. I'm not going to tell you not to go. And I'm not going to tell you to go. What I am going to tell you, get educated on what you're doing. So the topic of the night, VA employees refusing to use veterans, DBQs, and Nexus statements. Now, I just did a couple of videos this past week or two where I showed this 38 CFR. 38 CFR 3.326 examinations. Subpart A and Subpart B. I'm going to read both of them. Subpart A, where there is a claim for disability compensation or pension, but medical evidence accompanying the claim is not adequate for rating purposes, a Department of Veterans Affairs examination will be authorized. What does that mean? You submit a DBQ and or Nexus statement if warranted, the Nexus statement if it's warranted, and it's not sufficient. It's not adequate. The 38 CFR, which is a regulation. It's not an M21 manual reference. It's a regulation. They have to request a CMP exam. Now, Subpart B, provided that it is otherwise adequate for rating purposes, any hospital report or any examination report, DBQ, ding, 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 I'm giving you a nugget, from any government or private institution, your private doctor, may be accepted for rating a claim without further examination. So they're telling you if your DBQ and or Nexus, if the Nexus is warranted and is not adequate, it's telling the VA employee, schedule the exam. Subpart B, if it is adequate, no further examination is necessary. So you may ask yourself, Dwayne, why are VA employees doing this? I think it's lack of training. That's one. Two, they're caught up in their feelings. Three, they don't know the regulation, which leads back to number one, lack of training. If they came out of training and they said, oh, we're going to give you a mentor, and your mentor doesn't know squat, it's like the blind leading the blind. So at the end of the day, veterans, you have to be educated, period. I don't care if you have a claims agent, representative, a VSO organization, a VSO officer, or lawyer, or if you're working with another consulting company, okay, you have to be educated. They complete those forms for you, you sign, then what? You don't know what goes on after that. Okay, our clients, they get educated. They know about this 38 CFR if they're submitting a DBQ with a Nexus or just a DBQ if it's an increase. Guess what? Myself and my team, we're all retired raters. We're looking at their DBQ before they even send it to the VA to make sure it is adequate, sufficient to use for rating purposes. So at the end of the day, if you find yourself at a high level review and based on you submitting an adequate DBQ and they schedule an exam, you say, hey, I'm not going because under 38 CFR 3.326 subpart B, if it's adequate, you're supposed to use it. That's the argument. And guess what? I did another video talking about high level review and formal conferences where you have to argue fact or law. This is fact. It's not what you think, it's not what I think, it's what we know based on the regulation on the VA's website in the 38 CFR. So you have a lot of people to include VSOs, lawyers. Oh, you have to go. Have them to show you a regulation that states that you have to go if you submit an adequate DBQ and a Nexus. Now, I started rating at the VA before DBQs came out. So when DBQs did come on board, excuse me, and the VA make them public, guess what? They gave all raters training on what makes a DBQ adequate. Now, we weren't medical professionals. We're not looking at it from a medical perspective. We're looking at it from the VA regulation perspective. Okay. So I have other videos on my channel. I've done training what makes a DBQ adequate and sufficient for rating purposes. Again, my staff and I were all trained as VA raters. Okay. So let's go ahead. We're going to get into some Q&A because I want to hear what some people have to say about this. I want to hear from you. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. And yes, hello, Dwayne. If a DBQ and detailed IMO was submitted, reflecting 100% PTSD, TBI criteria, then rated at 70, with a high-level review officer review that more carefully ask questions that we can respond to. Okay. When you are service connected for TBI and PTSD, look NAS, look at the DBQ. It asks the examiner, veteran has a service connection or diagnosis of TBI. Yes. It's going to ask, is the social and occupational impairment due to the TBI or the PTSD? And it's going to ask the same for symptoms. Okay. So if you have a private doctor completing that, they have to answer those questions. Now, as a former rater, what I've seen, and when I rated cases, I would kick it back, especially if it came from a third-party contractor, because they're asking if that's not answered. That is the main criteria: social and occupational impairment and the symptoms that adds up to the 0, 10, 30, 50, 70, or 100. So NES, you have to look at that. You have to look at that exam, that DBQ that you submitted. Okay. But they gave you 70%. But again, when there's a TBI and a mental diagnosis, they have to ask that question. Okay. Mr. Rivers, thank you for shipping your signed copy. Gave your book I bought on Amazon to a fellow vet, paying it forward. Book, educational videos, or transformative prices. Hey, I definitely appreciate the support, Mr. Rivers. Again, with that book, I wanted to give veterans something, active duty service members, something they can use to execute. Not, oh, you're entitled to this. Oh, you're entitled to that. That's all fine and dandy, but how do you get those entitlements? Okay. So as it pertains to VA compensation, that's what I did with my book. And before I go on to the next question, again, people, I'm not accredited. I don't need to be accredited to educate you on this because I was trained by the VA. I know this system. Okay. I've worked on the backside. I've seen the good, bad, the ugly, and ugly on top of ugly. Okay. Now, a lot of things that I may bring up in videos, you may say, well, Dwayne, why aren't other VA employees following that? Even though there's regulations, court cases, AM21 manual references, some employees, they're just like, you know what? I'm not giving it to the vet. And if they don't like it, they can do a high-level review. I don't care. Deny the claim. You have other VA employees like, man, what can I do to get this vet service connected under the 5 ways of service connection? Okay. But at the end of the day, myself and my staff trained by the VA. And after that training, I could see other rater classes coming behind my class, and that training start to fall off. Now, what do you have? DTA errors, duty to assist errors, more high-level reviews, DTA errors being found at the high-level review. Okay. So not that you and I can do about it other than get educated. So, you know, if you have to do a high-level review with your claim, you know what you're doing. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Okay. JP, I won a TDIU claim dating back to September 2020, but now I have won another claim that puts me well over 100% scheduled. Is TDIU now moot? Could I keep trying to find the right work? I don't know, but thanks. Hey, 100% permanent total is the greater benefit over TDIU and permanent total. Okay. So, JP, you have to understand, are you 100%? If your is your overall rating 100%? If it is, then you will not, the TDIU is moot. Okay. So you can go back. If you want to go out to California and be Brad Pitt's bag up, then fine. Okay. Let's keep moving. Annette Baker, hello, Dwayne. Thanks for all you do. I love your book and give it as a Christmas gift. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Annette. Thanks for all the support over the years. I definitely appreciate it. And it definitely means a lot to me. Yeah, I'm not sure why they are rejecting DBQs and Nexus letters. I had to inform an examiner they were not following M2 for providers. Examiner did not like it. I complained to QTC. Yeah, they're doing that. Okay. And I know right before I retired, they said, oh, we got this huge backlog. And I'm telling you, VA management is kind of weird. Okay. Some of the things they come up with, and I worked in management in the private sector for over 15 years before I went to the VA. And they said, well, we're going to not have raters request exams because we need them to focus on the backlog. Guess what? That's what helped drive that backlog up, because now you have VSRs that are not trained to rate, that are not trained to go through and request exams. They request them, but they're just requesting them for everything, even though they're not needed. And they're supposed to get training on, what makes a DBQ sufficient. They don't know what I need to use to rate that case, because that's not their job. Their job is development. I wasn't trained on every aspect of development, but they were, because that's their job. Okay. So I think this is another reason why a lot of veterans are getting exams requested when they're not supposed to. And you go to that exam and it shows a negative opinion, 9 times out of 10, they're going to use that negative opinion over your private doctor, and they're going to say, oh, probative weight. Your doctor didn't look at your claims folder, even if they put it in there. Okay. It's horrible. It's horrible what they're doing. Okay. Annette, again, thank you for the super sticker. I definitely appreciate it. Okay, Jamal, use affidavits alongside your DBQ and Nexus letters. Affidavits transcend the administrative process and are judicial in nature. They are sworn and attested to. Thanks for sharing that, Jamal. When I was a rater, there was no need for all that. 38 CFR 3.326, subpart B, if it's adequate, I was using it. I didn't need nothing else that's what the regulation states. Now, I'm not saying not have affidavits. If you want to do that, fine, go ahead. But merely what I'm saying is it's not needed. Okay. Thanks, Jamal. Comer, it should never be this difficult. You are absolutely right. Having to use affidavits is just absurd. They know what should be done. Yes. But again, when I went through training, it was, oh man, I would say from the 1st of June to around the end of October. And I still was on second signature for like 6 or 7 months, meaning somebody was checking my work. And then the VA management, they got away from that train. And then when COVID hit, oh man, everything was virtual. This particular training, you need to be in person. Okay, maybe follow-up training, some of it virtual. If you do all the training virtually, you're going to get what you get. And what they're getting right now is DTA errors. Okay. My ETS order states that I was released due to a physical disability. However, my DD-214 states that my time in service expired. Will that ETS be considered when filing a claim? I don't know what you mean by that. One, um, if you're claiming a condition, where does it fall under the 5 ways to service connection? Okay, that's where you got to start. Okay, and that says, yep, make sure we're hitting the thumbs up button. Oh man, we got 235 people in here. Okay, okay, all right, all right, okay. So I got a lot of thumbs up here. I definitely appreciate that. All right. I got rated for a condition and disagreed with the decision. I filed a supplemental claim, but they treated it like a file for increase instead of disagree with decision. Okay, Miguel, and this is for everyone. If you decide to go and do a supplemental claim, which is on a 0995, or high level review, which is on a 0996, read the instructions. Read the instructions. A supplemental claim is merely you were denied, not that you didn't get the increase that you wanted. You were denied, and you're coming back in and reopening that claim. And what do you need when that happens? New and relevant evidence. Okay. So if your service connected, why would you do a supplemental? Okay. I just did a video. I think it went up today. Do you do an increase or do you do a high level review? That's what I'm talking about in the video. All right. Just going through here. Okay, Miguel, if I do a HLR, can I argue the effective date since they treated my supplemental like an increase instead of a supplemental? Okay. Miguel, you got a lot of moving parts. Okay. You got to take a step back. Watch some of my videos where I talk about supplemental claims. Some of my other videos where I say, I'm talking about how to win your high level review. What are you doing a high level review for? Is it the effective date? Is it the percentage? Do you have a copy of your claims folder? There's my claims folder, my paper one, right back there. Okay. So what is the high level review? And what fact are you arguing? Okay, you got to understand that. So again, you got to take a step back and figure out, okay, what am I doing? Am I going to do a high level review, supplemental? Is it effective date? And just deal with that. Okay. It's going to be hard to say because effective dates are tricky. Okay. Hubert Smith, thank you for the awesome information and updates. Now the problem is my passion. Billy, I'm rated at 100% for TBI. Is there anything out there for a caregiver pay? I have early dementia of Alzheimer's. Billy, go to your social worker at the VA Medical Center. And there they have a caregiver program that is under VHA. 99% of my videos are pertaining to VBA. The caregiver program falls under VHA, Veterans Healthcare Administration. So if you're registered, which I hope you are, with your local VA medical center, get a hold of your social worker on your team and they can walk you through it. You can find the criteria for the caregiver, the criteria that you need before you even apply on the VA's website. Just go to the search, type in caregiver program. Okay. All right, Chris, how we doing? Long time no see. Could you translate into layman's terms the change regarding the bio changes that went into effect December 27th? Yep, that's the right date, Chris. I have not done research on it, Chris, so I'm sorry I cannot translate it. I just been so bagged up. I got one of my assistants is out, so I had to pick up a lot of her duties. So I haven't been able to get on. I've been on the VA's website, but I haven't done research on that particular topic. When I do, I definitely, Chris, I will do a video on that. Wayne, can you win a disability claim without the Nexus letter and DBQ? Isn't your progress note sufficient with diagnostic? No. I have yet, as a rater, maybe 1% of the time, I was able to use some progress notes. And I give you an example. Veteran had a knee replacement or a hip replacement. That's in the progress note, especially if it's done at a VA medical center, because we have access as raters to those records. Okay. But if you're trying to do an increase in your back, and if your range of motion is not in those progress notes, how am I going to give you an increase? Okay. So sometimes you can, but it's a small percent of the time. It's going to depend on what the veteran is claiming. And actually, Wayne, somebody left a comment on my YouTube channel, some similar. And I'm like, no, like I said, 1% chance, depending on what the veteran is claiming. Okay. Greg, I'm already in the decision phase. I submitted fully developed DBQs. VA never requested a CMP. There you go. Prime example. So, Greg, guess what? Your claim landed on somebody's desk that's familiar with 38 CFR 3.326. It happened to several of our clients. They went through the process, had sufficient DBQs. Guess what? Didn't even get an exam. We had other clients went through the process. They got called for an exam. We went over 38 CFR 3.326 with them. Hey, you got a sufficient DBQ. You at that crossroad. What are you going to do? Majority of them said, nope, I'm not going. Of course, the VA denied the claim. The client submits a high-level review. They know what they're arguing. They're bringing up a 38 CFR, an M21 manual reference, which is not law, but VA employees do follow it. I follow it as a rater, and it helped me solidify the grant if the claim was very paper thin. Okay. And those clients want it on a high level review. So, what does that tell you? The rater, either they didn't know what they were doing, or they were just like, you know what? I'm not giving it to him or her. Okay. All right. So, man, we got like almost 300 people in here tonight. That is awesome. I'm glad I moved it up an hour. Somebody let me know how many likes we got. We got 297 people. We need to have like 297 likes. Okay. Let's keep going. Carlos, hi. I have a CMP exam for a claim of anxiety and insomnia. Okay. They're the same. And he said you also have sleep apnea. Now what I have to do? Carlos, just because if this is a VA doctor, just because they tell you you have sleep apnea under VHA, Veterans Healthcare Administration, does not automatically set you up to get service connected under VBA, Veterans Benefit Administration. So, Carlos, what do you have to do? Go out to my channel, watch my video on step 1 of the VA claims process. If you have my book, I talk about it. So, I'll ask you, Carlos, your sleep apnea, where does it fall under the 5 ways of service connection? And guess what's not one of the 5 ways of service connection? Your VA primary care physician saying you should file a claim. Doesn't work that way, okay? Insane process. It is. But let me tell you, I sit back and I look at it and I can say, it's easy. I get frustrated at times with it. But I will say this, the majority of people that's not educated, it's like you're throwing something up against the wall hoping something sticks. I don't care how good your lawyer is. I don't care how good your VSO is. It doesn't matter. Your claim lands on somebody's desk that's not an advocate for veterans. And then I get comments where people say, oh, they need to just fire everybody and hire veterans. Guess what? The majority of the people who work at the VA are veterans. And as a rater that worked in that system, guess who some of the raters that I work with that was on my team, guess who were really hard on veterans? The veteran raters. So stop thinking because a rater is not a veteran, they're harder. No. Some of the hardest raters I've seen were veterans themselves. I'm not giving it to them. I don't think that could have happened. I was in the Army. I never I never saw that. It doesn't matter what you saw. It doesn't matter what you felt. Did the veteran follow the guidelines? Is the paperwork correct? Yes. Do you have what you can grant the benefit? Yes. And they still wouldn't, some of them still wouldn't want to do it just because in their mind, oh, the veteran shouldn't have it. So stop thinking that the majority of the people work at the VA are non-veterans. Stop thinking that it's the non-veteran VA employees that are harder on veterans. You are sadly mistaken. How do I know that? Because I work with some of them, and a lot of them are still there. Okay. But don't let that deter you. Continue to get educated because I'm going to tell you the regulations, court cases are on your side. You just got to know which ones to use when you file their claim. That's where we come in and we educate our clients on that so they know how to go in and fight. All right. Scrap Guy, formerly known as Gun Guy. How we doing, sir? Lee. Lee says, I went to a DBQ for my, I went to a DBQ, I'm assuming you mean exam for TMJ. The family staff nurse laughed in my face and injured my jaw during a forced range of motion. Man, I hate to hear that. Can you file a form 1151 if going to a CMP exam that they did the injury? So I'm kind of confused, Lee. I'm assuming you're saying that you went to a CMP exam. Correct me. I'm trying to figure this out. You went to a CMP exam and they injured your jaw because you filed 1151. Man, I have never been asked that question this way. Can you file 1151 due to CMP exam? That would fall under treatment at the VA. Okay. Even though if they deny the TMJ. Now, I'm not going to get into too deep in 1151s. I rated a few of those. Now, another doctor within the VA at a different location has to look at the operative report or whatever progress notes and make a determination if that doctor made a mistake. Lee, is there anything in that CMP exam that shows that that doctor forced you or something like that? Because that's all the rater is going to have to go off of. And it needs to be more than just your subjective statement. Okay. But man, that's a good question. Twisted at Wayne Smith. Okay, the VA will send you to the CMP exam where DBQ. Okay, so that was, I'm sorry, you responded to someone else. Chris, yes, training is lacking, especially they're trying to push for the mass hire for the pack that push. You know what? Let me tell you something. When I first rated, it took me 24 months just to get comfortable. Just while I'm doing ratings, signing and sending them out. Okay. Some other people, maybe a lot sooner than that. For me, it's 24 months. And that was after 15 months of training. Okay. You just can't go through 15 months of training and say, oh, pack that. Here you go. Start rating them. You can't do that. That's like saying, okay, instead of going through 8 weeks of basic training, it's a war going on. We're only going to give you 2 weeks. We're going to see in Afghanistan, you can learn on the job. Really? Think about that. Okay. So a mad rush to hire these people, say, oh, we're going to get them ready for the PACT Act. They should have been hiring them people 18, 20 months before the PACT Act even came about. They knew they were going to do this. They just didn't wake up one morning and say, oh, we're going to create this whole new thing, the PACT Act. No, it was already in the works. So if you know that you're going to be adding conditions to a regulation, that's going to increase the backlog. Hey, we need to start hiring right now to get people in place. Did they do it? I think I looked on usajobs.gov. They were hiring, but guess what? People were leaving. Then you got people retiring. Okay, so yeah, you lose 100 people to retirement and you got 100 new people. Those 100 new people cannot replace those 100 people that retire right off the bat. They don't have the time. They don't have the experience. But VA managers don't think that way. Okay? They get a bonus. Damn, I'm sorry. They excuse me. They get that. Okay. Thanks for the donation, Mike. Requested a sleep study back in November. Earliest date I could get in is April. They're definitely in no rush. I see. Hey, if you did one in November, you got one in April. Hey, consider yourself lucky. When I did a sleep study, it took them almost like 10 months to get me in. That was some years ago. Okay. Please show an example of a DBQ. Thank you, sir. Oh man, you know, Hubert, I used to do trainings. I used to do trainings on what makes a DBQ actionable and sufficient. Guess what? A lot of people weren't signing up. I was doing it like at least three times a month. People weren't showing up. So we will do them. We will do them on a case by case basis. Okay. So make sure you contact us. You go to the website, you contact us, and we can do a one-on-one. Okay. So when you call, we'll let you know what the prerequisites are to get you set up. And if you agree with those, then we'll move forward with that. Okay. Now there is a fee associated with that. Okay. Again, you can go out there to a lawyer, you can go out there to a claims agent, but again, they weren't trained by the VA like myself and my staff was. Okay, Tony Flo says you can hear me. Appreciate it. My GERD and corporal tunnel was deferred, but I still made it to 100% P&T. Should I be worried? Hey, what they're saying is they gave it to you. You're 100% P&T. So in that rating, they're supposed to tell you why they deferred you, but they don't do a good job. Whenever I did a rating and I granted something and then deferred something else, for example, I was able to grant a veteran, service connection for whatever, and I needed to defer a couple of issues. I would say the claim condition for GERD is deferred due to needing a CMP exam with a medical opinion. So okay, they're planning on scheduling a CMP exam. Now a lot of raters, they just put development. But what is that development for? Go out and get private medical records, develop to go get a CMP exam, and guess what? It's not even an error. The quality team is okay with it. Oh, you told the veteran development. It doesn't take that much longer to type 3 or 4 extra words explaining that development. You don't have to get long-winded about it. Okay. I'm 100% P&T. My ex-wife contacted VA for oh, Tony. No, she didn't. An apportionment for my daughter. I currently pay $630 a month, and I'm up to date with child support payments. Will that get approved? Raters do not deal with apportionments. VSRs do. But you in luck, Tony, because I'm going to tell you what you need to do. You ready, Tony? Everybody tell Tony to get a pen, because this is the first question I've had on apportionment, okay? Now, it's income-based. The way I've seen veterans win, your expenses, Tony, got to be higher than yours. That $630, boom, that's an expense. Food, light, if you got another family, if you got other kids. So if your expenses are a lot higher than hers, I've seen they're not going to give her anything. But if her expenses are really high and yours are low, they about to hit you in the wallet. So it's income based. Tony, you got to put the work in. Tony, go to the M21 manual reference. I did a video on how to use and do a search in the M21 manual reference. Type in apportionment and see what comes up. Man, Tony, you took me way back with that one. If I didn't have hair, you probably would make me go bald tonight, because I've never been asked that in like 4 years. So good question, Tony, but watch my video on how to search the M21 manual reference. Your keyword search is apportionment. Now, again, raters don't have anything to do with that unless they changed it. The VSRs do that, but I would see in a veteran's claims file where the ex-wife called in. Oh, I'm, and they won't even say anything about child support. They don't want to bring that up. Oh, no, 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 no. But you can bring it up, Tony. If you got a court order, guess what you're sending in to prove that you're paying that $630? Okay. It's not what you say, Tony, it's what you can prove. All right. Let's keep moving. Whoa, good man, Tony. Good one. Man, that's a good one. Chris, the VA made decision letters available through my VA portion of the website. How do we go about getting them to make DBQs made readily available, state representatives or something? Okay, good question, Chris. I did a video here recently in the last 30 days where I can't remember the name of the bill that was passed that forces VBA to give veterans access to their claims folder. Now, the VA is going to come up, VBA is going to come up with a whole hoopla about, oh, they can't do this. It's going to take a long time to do this. Guess what the VHA is doing? You go to My Healthy Vet, you get to see all your progress notes, x-rays, and it's read only. You can't change anything. So why can't VBA mirror what VHA is doing with their progress notes? But I guarantee they're going, oh, PI and all this other stuff. Now they want to go and start redacting names. Because, man, you get the Raiders name that denied you and they weren't supposed to, and you go to a judge, hey, wait a minute, it was Johnny O. Now, back when I was first started rating, we had to put our first initial last name. Now, I think when I retired, we just had to put like our initials or something like that. Okay, so you'll never know who that person is more than likely. Okay, but the note section, some other things, emails may be uploaded. I've seen veterans claims folders where a supervisor sent an email to an employee, and guess what's in that claims folder? That supervisor's email. That Raiders email. When I was at the VA, I'll tell you, my email was Dwayne.Kimball@va.gov. First name, dot, last name, va.gov. That was my email. Some veterans, they figured out because I would get an email. I'm like, oh, snap. I wouldn't worry about it though. Okay. Clifford, do you need a Nexus letter if you recently separated and have submitted claims to VA since? Where's the DBQ? Clifford, if you're within that 1 year of discharge, go to 38 CFR 3.309 subpart A. Look at those diagnoses. If you have a diagnosis that's on that list and you within 365 days from discharge, you can claim it. I am claiming arthritis in my thoracolumbar spine as a 1 year presumptive under 38 CFR 3.309 subpart A. You have to tell that to that CMP examiner because they're going to go right to your service treatment records because that VSR that's not trained on these 38 CFRs requested that exam without telling the examiner, hey, you won't find this in the veteran's medical records because they're claiming it as a 1 year presumptive. So therefore, a Nexus is not needed if you file a claim within 1 year. Whoo, that was a major nugget. Steven, what's going on? I think I got an email from you, Steven, last week. Great information. You helped me get to 80% your book. Oh, Steven, say it again. I help you get to 80% just by educating you? Steven, really? And guess what? I'm not accredited, but I was trained by the VA and I educate you to get to 80%? Steven, are you serious? You can't be telling the truth, Steven, because there's people out there, especially on Facebook, saying, oh, the only way you got to be accredited, but I'm not. And I educated Steven and he got 80%. Shut the front door. Thanks for the support, Steven. Thanks for allowing me to educate you. If 80% is your final destination, so be it. If not, stay in the fight. All right, Teddy, is it possible to get a decision without a CMP exam? Yes. I have a claim in for 5 months now, no CMP schedule as of yet. Some claims are a lot faster than others, okay? So it's gonna depend on what you're claiming. Like if you're service connected for a knee, you have knee replacement, excuse me, they still may schedule an exam, but that's automatic 30%. They can grant that. I've granted a knee replacement without a CMP exam, especially if the veteran said, I am claiming an increase in, let's say, right knee, in my service connected right knee. I've had a knee replacement, see attached operative report dated dot, 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 but I am in severe pain. I didn't grant the 30%. I granted the 60%, then sign an RFE, out the door. Okay. Twisted. If asking VA to adjust lowest rating from 11 to fit new low rating law, do I have to file for an increase? Oh, woo, Twisted. I need more information on that. I'm not going to attempt to try and answer that because I'm not certain. Yeah, I would have to ask you like 3 or 4 questions, Twisted. So I don't want to give you some bad information. Skills. Hey, Dwayne, thanks for everything. And because of your streams, now on the process of getting my first home. Man, that's what's up. That is what's up. I am so happy for you getting your first home ownership. Hey, congrats. Congrats. Okay. Hope you're doing well, man. I love your videos. Thank you for the support. They denied my depression because they said I had a rough childhood, which I did. How can I go backwards? Okay. Remember, I'm saying these VSRs are requesting exams. When I was rating, and I'm going to say this throughout, I'm going to start saying this in my videos. When I rated, I was trained by the VA. Not accredited, I was trained by the VA. If I saw veteran, it was something in the veteran's file that, that they had a rough childhood. That's a pre-service aggravation. That's one way of service connection. Did the military aggravate that? And if the veteran was treated in service for it, that's direct service connection. So I'm ordering 2 medical opinions, which gives you 2 chances to get service connected. You're not seeing this these days. Okay. But how do they even know you had a bad childhood? Who are you talking to? So you have to explain that. Okay. It's already out there. But how did the military aggravate the troubled childhood? Only you can explain that. Okay. But more than likely, the VSR should have requested 2 opinions, especially if you had some type of treatment while on active duty. Okay. All my DBQs and Nexus statements were not used, and all my claims were denied all the way through the high-level review process. Okay, so more is needed. Did you have somebody that's trained and understands what makes those DBQs and Nexus actionable and sufficient? Where did they fall under the 5 ways of service connection? Did your examiner that completed the DBQs, did they review your claims folder? If they did not review that claims folder, that makes those DBQs insufficient. Okay. Tim, Dwayne, any advice? I have 70% depressive disorder already and was recently diagnosed with TBI, PTSD, and the claims are about to be decided soon. I'm currently 80% and have migraines and sleep apnea. Okay. So like I stated earlier, Tim, look at that. Look at the PTSD DBQ or any mental. Oh, it'd be PTSD in this case. They ask if you have a diagnosis of TBI, is the social occupational impairment and the symptoms more closely related to PTSD or the TBI. All right. Now, migraines and sleep apnea. Is it secondary? Are you claiming it secondary? Okay. So if you are You just file a claim, migraines and sleep apnea secondary to your PTSD. Okay. All right. So before I get to the next question, if you hadn't went out and picked up the book, go to the website. You can pick up the book. Okay. Um, you order it through the website. I should take that vet 20 off there. I'm sorry. You order through the website. I will send you a signed copy. Okay. Um, so just make sure, when you go to the website, it'll take you to, my Shopify landing page. And I added some really cool pictures on the landing page for the book. Okay. All right. DC, I'm in the National Guard and my sleep apnea claim was rejected, even though my sleep apnea and DD214 line up. Do you know why? No, I do not, DC, because I'm not looking at any of your paperwork. I never got an exact reason other than they just denied it. Oh, they gave you an exact reason, DC. You got to go back and read that narrative section. But then you got to ask yourself, where does the sleep apnea fall under one of the 5 ways of service connection? Okay, you gotta know this stuff. They gave you an explanation, but did you understand it? Okay, a lot of people come to us and they say, "Hey, I don't understand this rating decision. Can you review it?" That's something that we do. We provide a report, and we go over that report with you and explain to you why they denied you, why they gave you this particular effective date. Now, why they gave you a particular percentage is a little bit harder because if we don't have that CMP exam, we can only go off of what they put in the narrative section of the rating decision as to why they assigned a particular percentage. I'll file for migraines and went through 3 ACE exams only to get 0% with evidence submitted from buddy letter and sick leave form signed by supervisor showing days missed from work. Okay. We had this happen to a client. Okay. Got service connected at 0% for migraines. They go back. We did a educational packet. That's what we did for migraines and some other conditions. They get a CMP exam. They get service connected at 0%. In that educational packet, we use example wording for you to use as a reference. I am claiming an increase in my service connected migraine since my last CMP exam. My condition has worsened. I now present with very completely prostrating attacks, severe economic inadaptability. That's the 50%. So we built out the education packet. That's what we put in there, the example wording for the client to use as a reference. Came back at 0%. In the rating decision, the rater states, your examiner stated that you informed them that your migraines interfere with your employment. They still CNC confirmed to continue to 0%. We did another educational packet for the client. They go to high level review. 2 weeks after that, they get 50%. Because guess what? The rater could have used the personal statement that the veteran wrote saying that the migraines interfere with their employment, and on the CMP exam and in the rating decision, the rater stated, hey, your doctor stated that you informed him or her. They just didn't check that box for 50%. Our client won that on a high-level review because we educated them on the fact and law. Simple as that. So I'll look at the video that I uploaded today. Do you go to the high-level review or just increase? Okay. Let's keep moving. Hey, Dwayne, thanks for all you do for us. I've gifted your book to help others. If my effective date is April 2023, should my pay start May 2023? Yes, because we are paid in arrears. Now, the pay that you receive for May 1st, 2023 covers the entire month of April because we get paid in arrears. Okay. DC, they did the same thing with my sleep study. Okay. Hey, thanks for the support. Definitely appreciate it. Lady Royale, how do you feel about video recording your CMP exam? I've experienced a doc writing the exact opposite of what I've told them during my exam. Ask them. Hey, I think that's, someone may not like it because they know now there's video evidence. But here's another thing that you could do. I don't know if you could do this if it's illegal to record, or just ask them, say, hey, if you don't mind, can I video record this? Because, if I have to appeal this, then I have some evidence of what happened. If they say, well, I don't want it to be on video, just say, okay, well, can I just turn my camera away to the wall or something so it could pick up the audio? You can ask that question, but yeah, that would make sense. And it just holds them accountable. Just be honest, be fair. Okay, Craig said, denied me twice for sleep apnea, and I was diagnosed and prescribed a CPAP while on active duty. Whoa, I've seen that. People rushing. But if you got a CMP exam, what was the doctor's rationale? If you don't know what the rationale is, I just uploaded a video this week explaining what a rationale is. Okay. So that's the reason why you need to get a copy of that DBQ, which it will include that medical opinion and rationale. Why did the doctor say no? The doctor says, hey, they reviewed your service treatment records and there's no complaint of sleep study. That is a error. That is an error. Okay. And the Raiders should have caught it if that's the case. Okay. Tony D, can you get backdated to 2009 for service connection disability that was 0% if I found new service related medical evidence? Yes, it's very seldom. But I've seen it if it falls under CUE. Like Tony D, I have a video on my channel where I'm explaining what a CUE is. Okay. And CUEs, they don't expire, but it's up to the veteran to it's up to the veteran to raise that fact. Okay. George Washington, I submitted IMO with Nexus and DBQs for 8 different conditions. The VA has scheduled me for one general CMP for all 8. That's what we've been talking about, George. That's what I talked about earlier. And I showed 38 CFR 3.326. So, George, if you weren't on the live when I first started, go back and rewatch it. Okay, real quick. Somebody tell me we got 384 people. Somebody tell me how many likes do I have? Okay, how many likes do I have? It should be over 300. We got almost 400 people in here. Okay, I don't see anybody. Man, we got a lot of people in here tonight. 212, 211. Okay, we got to get them up now. 215. Dito girl, did we get that house in Louisiana yet? Okay, you talked to David Piatek? Okay. Billy, should be more with your knowledge. Should be more with your knowledge. Let me know what you mean by that, Billy. I'm curious. Okay. Okay. All right, Tony D, can you we already asked that one. If multiple claims were filed, why would the VA decision 6 or 8 conditions and wait on the others? It's going to, it depends on the rater. I usually try to knock as many out as I could, especially if they were grants, get money in the pockets to veterans sooner rather than later. But that's going to be based off of that's going to be determined by the rater. AI would be able to persuade the attorney of the 30 CFR cross-check peer-reviewed studies and apply the necessary ratings without human emotion. VA should stop tolerating mistakes. Hey, they're human. Um, I was a VA rating specialist and I made mistakes. You know, mistakes can be corrected. Okay. We've done reviews for people and caught mistakes all the way back to 1982. Okay. And we're not accredited and we found them. You don't need to be accredited to figure that out. Okay. You just need to understand and know this process. Um, so it happens. I made mistakes. I caught the mistakes. The VA is not perfect. The VA system is not perfect. Okay. I filed for cervical condition T. Okay. All right. God manifests in the flesh, died on the cross, and rose again. He did everything necessary to save you from your sins and give it. Okay. Thank you for sharing, sir. VA lawyer filed a claim labeled neck condition and got denied. You can't make this up. Life is hard. Where does it fall under the 5 ways of service connection? Where does the neck condition fall? Billy, thanks, brother. Nope, you're welcome. Most certainly welcome. Hey, boss, I've been watching your videos, bought your book, and I'm almost in the window for filing a BDD claim. Thank you for all the information you put out. Continue to get things documented. Continue to get things documented more than once. I have a free BDD claim. I've been trying to get in to do TAPS training. Been met with a lot of roadblocks, so I created my own TAPS training, and it's free, and you can sign up on our website. Okay, I do it. Last year I was doing it twice a month. Went back down to once a month because I'm doing some other live events. Okay, but what we've been seeing with active duty service members that only were treated or got one diagnosis, a lot of these third-party examiners are saying, "Oh, that's just a one-off." Continue to get it documented. Okay, I'm going to sick call, back hurt. Going to sick call, back hurt. Okay. How is TBI epilepsy is rated secondary to TBI? Okay, all those fall under neurological. Okay, so if you go to the 38 CFR, probably 4 point, I don't know the neurological CFR right off the top of my head, but if you go to the neurological body system at the beginning, it'll tell you, or should tell you, um, which diagnostic codes not to combine. Okay. I'm trying to think. I haven't looked at it in a while, but when I rate it, I would, TBI would be the highest one, right? And then I would break out the secondary conditions. But I had to make sure that I did not pyramid. And that's where these diagnostic codes come in. Okay. So I can't say right off the top, Mr. B. I would have to go back and look at the neurological diagnostic codes, the regulation that covers not only pyramiding, but covers the diagnostic codes for all neurological conditions. CH, the VA denied the cervical claim. They acknowledged that it was a disability, but said it wasn't service connected. While in service, I performed a great deal of heavy lifting and had numerous falls. Were they documented? It's not what you say, it's what you could prove. If it happened in service and it's not documented, 9 times out of 10, they're going to deny the claim like it never happened. Okay, I did a lot of heavy lifting too. I didn't go to the sick call and get it documented. But I have a video on what conditions you can claim without being treated in service. Did it May of 2023. And a lot of good information on the video. I think it's almost at 500,000 views. Okay. Can I get backdated pay? I think, yep, I already answered that one. Has anyone had a service connect disability taken away because the VA called a clear enough mistake or error on the decision they made? MT Black, I've done several of those, and it's called sever. They severed, meaning they took it back like it never happened. Proposal to reduce, you just maybe going from 50 down to 0. Sever, they're taking it back. that service connection like it never happened. But in that notification letter, they got to give you due process and they give you instructions on what you can do to fight it. It's called an RVSR hearing. Guess what, MT Black? You're in luck. I did a video and it's on my channel where I talk about RVSR hearings. It don't get a lot of views because I'm not showing the Benjamins on there. But it's something that you need to know, especially if they're doing a proposal to reduce and a proposal to sever, because guess what? They're only giving you like 30 or 60 days to do something, okay? Well, I know we are over an hour. I'm going to go another 5 minutes because I came in a little bit late, okay? Do VA look at personal statements? Okay. Raters, they should be looking at them, okay? I can't say there's hundreds of raters. I get asked questions like this. I don't know all the raters. I don't know what their rating style is, but yes, they should be looking at them. Okay. I was at Camp Lejeune from 1980, January to April 1980 for supply NCO. So you're saying that you're claiming Camp Lejeune presumptive. They stated I didn't have any evidence or complaints for neck condition while in service. I also submitted a Nexus letter. It doesn't matter if you submitted a Nexus letter in the MRI findings. If you weren't treated in service, it's not documented. Where does it fall under the 5 ways of service connection? And do you meet the criteria? This is something I talk about in my book. Okay. Now, one thing I want to share with you all, I should have shared this to you early on. This is my book, VA Claims Success. There's another book out there on Amazon. It's an imposter. It is not my book. This is my book right here with my name on it. Okay. Down at the bottom. Okay. That's my book. I talk about Nexus statements. No, I'm sorry. I talk about the 5 ways of service connection in my book, CH, and I have several free videos on my channel. Talk about the 5 ways of service connection. Check those videos out. I think it's going to help you. If we do consulting with you, do you help us find someone to do Nexus and DBQ? We don't help you find anyone. We know medical and mental health professionals. Okay. But yeah, if you do consultation, then you get access to those individuals. Now, their fees and services are totally separate from ours. You need a copy of your VA claims folder. Even if you become a client, we do an educational packet, which is on our website. You get access. But if you don't have the claims folder, you don't get access because guess what? They have to put in there that they reviewed that information. So if you don't have it, how can they say they reviewed it? So we're not going to set you up for failure because that would make that DBQ and Nexus insufficient. Okay, can you please post a link to your book? Sure, I can do that. And it's right there. There it is. Look at the ticker, King. Look down below at the ticker. But I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up. I'll go ahead and post a link for the book. That's not a problem. Okay. So that way you can have it. Now, I'm just going to show my website. We got a couple more minutes here. Okay. Because a lot of people, they don't go to the website for whatever reason. Okay. So we are going to give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So here's the website, and I've shown this before. Okay. So and I'm gonna start doing this at the beginning because I know a lot of people are not going to watch the whole hour. We got almost 400 people here, so I'm just going to go through it. Okay. So this is the website. This is where you sign up for the consultations. Now, when you answer these questions in the consultations, they're specific. This is not a personal Q&A session. Okay, it's for us to determine the educational services that we provide, which one will help that you can opt into that we think that will be beneficial to you. Okay, you can we do live webinars now. So I'll do it live in a Zoom setting. Okay, and I'll go over those services and fees. All right. If you're still on active duty, BDD, TAPS training. This right here is only for active duty service members and spouses. Okay. If you're no longer on active duty, this free course is not going to help you. Okay. This one here is just a live webinar where it says KMD89's exclusive educational services webinar, where I'm explaining what we do, how we do it. Okay. Here is the book. Okay. So I'm going to put a link to the website, okay, in the comment section. You click on this buy now, it'll take you to the store. Okay. Click on it, buy now. There it is. There's a book. And I've updated. I messed around with it last night. I just added some pictures here. Okay. Pick up the book and got some more pictures over here for you. Somebody said, "Oh, you don't have any pictures on your website." Marketing team created, and I was like, "What?" So I was like, "They were like, oh, it's spam, spamming veterans, you're taking their money," and I'm like, "It's a book, you know." So I added some pictures. So this is me. All right, all right. Let's keep going. Ooh, almost forgot where. Okay, so King, you got the link to the book. Not enough is being done for veterans to be able to access their own information, and veterans should have instant access to their claim. I agree. I agree. Congress did pass a bill, but it's going to take a while for the VA to do anything. I guarantee it. Your link to DBQ and Nexus review, learn more, done. Um, we don't have that. I don't have that training anymore. So if you need or want that training, what makes a DBQ actionable and sufficient? Schedule a one-on-one, and then we'll get you set up as a client. Okay, and that's normally they'll run about an hour. Okay. The DBQ and Nexus review, learn more, link on your website. Don't work, please advise. Where is that? Okay, so that review, it is so wait a minute. Hmm. I've been messing around with that. Let's see. Learn more. Okay. You are right. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so we're going to get that fixed. Actually, we're going to remove it. There's no other information needed. So, hey, I'm gonna get that corrected tonight. Thank you for pointing that out. Um, it's all the information, the DBQ Nexus Statement Review, the description that you see. That's all the information there. Thank you for pointing that out. Sorry about that. I'm retiring at my 20-year mark, April 2025. Start getting things documented now. Start getting it documented now. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. Everybody, we're 15 minutes over. Um, I know I want to stay on a little bit longer, just because I got logged in late, was having some issues on my end. So I definitely apologize for that. But I will tell you this, people. The VA is changing just because of, I think, in my opinion, the lack of training thereof, the employees. That a mad rush to get people hired, and they're not spending the time to train these people effectively. Okay, and unfortunately, um, it's the vets that's it got caught up in the middle. Okay, um, it, but I don't want you, the veterans, just to focus on that. Focus on that 38 CFR. If you decide to work with me, my company, okay, depending on, you go to our site, you look at one of the services, take the webinars free where I'm explaining. I'm live, so you can ask questions about our services. Those are the only questions that I take. But if you're working with another company, ask questions. What is your success rate? What type of training have you had on this process? Same way with VSOs. Just because they're accredited, what does that mean? They know everything? No. Okay. Ask questions. But at the end of the day, it's this is your claim, and it's your responsibility. Okay. It's the little things that add up. Okay. It's the little things that add up. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I want to give a shout out Dwight Smalls. Thank you for the donation. Definitely much appreciated. If I didn't get to your question, um, I do apologize. Annette, I responded to both of your questions today. I think about your husband. I remember the name, actually the picture. So thank you for the support. It is on Amazon as well. Um, you know, oh, here we go. Before I go, we got veterans, housing, education. David Piatek, thank you for the support. David and I, we do live streams once a month. So he is a subject matter expert when it comes to VA home loans. Dave flew down to Florida. Uh, We had a meeting right here in my house, came to my house, and we were trying to come up with a game plan to educate veterans on this VA home loan stuff. Every time I talk to Dave, I learn something. Okay. So definitely go to his YouTube channel, which is VA Housing Education. Subscribe. We go live every month. So if you subscribe to his channel, my channel, we go live, you're going to get notified. We do it in this setting. Okay. It's going to be topic specific. I think last month it was the VA home loan rates dropped. Okay. Dave gave a lot of good information. Okay. So definitely go out and support his channel. A Coker, thank you for the support. Definitely appreciate it. Okay. I'm just going through, make sure I thank everyone that donate. Free guy. Okay. There's that Marine. Happy New Year. D free guy. Dwayne is the real deal. Got me on my road to 100. Respect. Get the book. Yep. I'm telling you, can't go wrong with it. Black Mason. I'm stuck on review, and it says you or someone else submitted EMS contention cancellation. Do you know what that means? It's been like that since October. Call in 800-827-1000 and make sure that they did not cancel your claim. Because if somebody called in, nobody can't just call in on your behalf, because when you call in, they have to verify that they're talking to you unless somebody sent something in. Okay. 800-827-1000. B Mason, make sure they didn't do that. Oh, free guy, we need to talk tomorrow. Got some information for you about VA for hire. All right, Benny, thank you for the super sticker. Definitely appreciate it. Just going through. Sorry I didn't get to everybody. Dito girl, I'm pretty sure you already talked to David Piatek to go ahead and get that home loan. DK, the VA, open up a regular and procedural review on my case from 2000. Would this benefit me? Depending on why they did it, they just don't go back and look at stuff, so what happened? Okay, a little bit more needed for that Dito girl. Okay. All right. So I know I said I was going to punch out. I kind of nerd out on this stuff. But again, thanks everyone for attending. I do this every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month, no longer at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Moved it up to 6 p.m. Make sure you subscribe. Watch the entire videos. If you're watching one of my videos, a lot of people start asking me, leaving comments and asking me questions. I'm like, I talked about that in the video. You got to watch the entire video. I try to keep the videos around 10 or 12 minutes. It used to be around 27 to 30 minutes. I've reduced them. Watch the entire video. Trust me, you won't be disappointed, and you need to get all the information. Okay. So if you're not 100% permanent total and you feel you should be 100% permanent total, stay in the fight, get what you deserve. Sign up for my live webinar if you want to become a client. Okay. And I'll explain to you what it is we do and how we can educate you to get to see if we can get you to the percentage you feel that you deserve. So that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share my YouTube channel with other veterans. Thank you.